Today I was at John's, as you all saw, and we got the gear bent. I got the fuselage tissued, and now the fun stuff begins, the sanding. And you're going to be bored, so if you don't enjoy sanding, which most don't, you might as well find another channel to look at. But what I'm doing today, I'll be sanding till midnight. I don't know whether I'll leave the stream on because it's hard to talk to nobody. But I appreciate you watching. We got no current viewers now, supposedly. I can't tell. Let's see, do we have any audio? Yeah, we got audio. Let's make that bigger here. And let's transition the camera. So, part of the thing that I have to do is, when I put the tissue down, I did get some wrinkles in it. Well, I got to sand them out. It has, I don't know, 2 coats of clear on the tissue, on the Japanese tissue, and I just need to blend this all in. So basically what this stream is about is going to be sanding. That's what I'm going to do, is sand until it's perfect. And then tonight I'll probably get the fillets in it tonight if I can get around this area here sanded. I'll give you a little tip here. I have a soft foam block, and one side is 180 sandpaper, the other side is 320. So I'm using the 180 side now. If I got a big lump of tissue on there I want to cut off real quick, I just turn it over and rub on it until it's gone. And when it's gone, turn it back over to 320. I may not get the fillets on it. It probably needs another coat of dope. So I'll probably do the fillets tomorrow. But as we tried to tell you today, there are no mistakes at this stage of the game. I mean, you can be way outside the box with mistakes. Because it's all in the sandpaper. And how much are you willing to sand? I've seen a lot of guys build some nice airplanes and then kill it at the end because they're not willing to sand. I swear you can take a paint job that's cobblestone, all kinds of orange peel in it, just rough as a cob, and if you're willing to sand, you can polish it till it's like a mirror. And part of building these airplanes is being willing to sand. I'll probably let this stream run for an hour, and you can watch my technique how I sand for an hour. But I gotta turn the air on a little bit better. We gotta have some more air in here. It's a little cold, or a little warm. So I'm just picking some spots. I'm knocking the big boogies off of it. .320. not going to be any more brush coats of dope on the wings. There'll be one more brush coat on the fuselage. Then the fillets will go in, and then we'll sand that out. And then it's on the spray, because I got to start getting rid of the brush marks. Is the audio okay? Can you guys hear me? I don't know why this thing lags behind so bad, but let's take a look here and see what's going on. So we get on YouTube. We got to get to my channel. Short videos. Ah, there it is. Tucker, the sanding begins. And there's only one watching, so. Okay. So I guess those are accurate numbers. I guess, you know, after a day of watching me, everybody's pretty bored with it. And trust me, this is going to be the longest process. It will be many, many hours of just this sanding. I gotta turn this light down. Still too bright. What the heck? Looks bad on camera, but if I don't have some light on in here, I can't see. I got a soft box. This is 320 open coat gold sandpaper. You can get it at Lowe's. It's alright. Not as good as my sticky back paper, but I'm running rather low on the sticky back stuff, so I gotta get another roll of it. And that stuff's pretty pricey. So I gotta use that on my makeshift sanding blocks that I make. Because I won't get any more sandpaper for this airplane. This airplane's gonna finish up with what I got. I made another executive decision today. Normally, I paint this area the same color as the airplane. But because I'm here and can't spray, I have to go over John's house to spray. I'm going to shoot this with Duplicolor. I'm going to tape this off and shoot it with Duplicolor black lacquer underneath the windshield. And that'll have to do. So it'll cost me $6-7 for just a little bit of paint there. But I'll be able to continue on until I can either get home, which might happen here next week, or spray at John's. I need to get some flights in because the Nats is coming up and the weather's been so crappy here. I don't expect to do much at the Nats this year. Just time and circumstance. I need to figure out. I guess I'm gonna fly the Monado. Take that and see what we do as far as appearance points goes. And it doesn't fly as well as my other airplane, but the other airplane is so ratty. The one that I'm building this replacement for, I could fly my high roller, the one that I flew last year at the Nats. However, I don't think it flies as good as my Monado. So, my best flying airplane is just so ugly that I don't want to take it. But you never know. I might get it out and fly it this week or next week, and decide I'm gonna have to doctor it up and fly it. I let Charles fly it last year. I should have flown it myself. That's one I should have flown. But I wanted Charles to have a good experience with good airplane. You know, we're kind of blessed here being in the Midwest, where the Nats is close, and you know it's an hour away. We can fly it every year. Some people have to travel 2,000-3,000 miles, some more, and it's rather difficult for them to either one, get the time off, or two, the money. It costs a lot of money to go. Where basically for us guys that are this close, it's $100, you know. I have no life. All I do is sand. Sand and work. But I do end up with something at the end of the sanding. I end up with something that I can be proud of. And that's important to me. Too bad this airplane's not going to be ready for the Nats. I don't see getting it done in a month. This will have to be next year's Nats plane. If it flies good. If it flies as good as my June RXL, which it should. It's the same numbers, same wing, same numbers. What do we got going on here? Oh, that's a tissue. And it's going to be the same weight. Thank you for the like. Be the same weight if it kills me. You know, when I used to listen to Ron, all about weight, all about weight. God, he was so right. And you just don't know it until you finally wake up. And trust me, you guys, if you're out there flying 70-ounce airplanes, I'll let you fly one of my 50-ounce airplanes. There's a world of difference. It will go where you point it. Okay, let's look at these details that I put into this while I sand them out. I'll try to bring it in close. Now right here, I mean, it's crappy looking right now, but we'll get that here in a second when I get the sanding stick and sand all the excess tissue off there. That right there is a bearing. The wire comes out of a bearing, a 3/32 hole. It's not coming out of a gaping hole. So let's make up a standing stick. So we're going to get a popsicle stick like so, and I'll take some of my sticky back paper. I didn't get to stop at the Walgreens and pick up the woman's nails file. I was just so happy to have air conditioning, I couldn't believe it. Okay. Now I made my own nail file. So we're going to get all this tissue sanded away from this bearing. It's going to be more difficult than I thought. So I'm going to take one side of it, peel the paper off, and we'll do the other side with 180. Where are you? And you can do them. You can do this with 80 grit, 180, 320, whatever it takes. And these sanding sticks really work. I mean, don't be afraid to make your own tools. About killed myself there. So sticky back paper, stick down the popsicle stick, cut around it real close so you can control it. I'll show it to you here in a second when I get it cut. What John told you today about, what we do over there, none of it's scripted. We have no idea what we're going to talk about or what we're doing. Just that I go over there and work in his shop. He's kind enough to let me do that because I'm working in the closet here. Okay, 180 on one side, 320 on the other. So now we got to massage this. Might have to cut that tissue because I don't want to be sanding forever on that. So nope, we're not going to do that. We have a spot here. Do not overlook it. Get it addressed. That's a hard spot. And this is what gives you a nice looking model, these details. And trust me, these appearance judges, the ones worth their salt, when I'm judging appearance, I'm looking at all that stuff. I'm looking at, did you take the time to detail that out? So I guess that got most of it. We're going to have to put some super fill in there when I come around for the fillets, but yeah, there's some high spots. definitely. It's either green putty or superfill. It'd probably be superfill. Simple fact that green putty is so heavy. It's nice to work with, but very heavy. It's got a high spot right there. What the heck is going on? Okay, we'll get the bigger block out. All this detail sanding is what it takes to make a nice model. And there will be a ton of this. As I said, anybody who's seen my Thunderbolts, I'm going to make this model as nice as my Thunderbolt. And all that entails is time. I don't need an airplane to fly, so I don't need to rush the finish. We're going to address all the spots and get them perfect, or as close to perfect as possible. And all the details I plan to put on this don't weigh anything. The smoke, that's better. The ink lines, the decals, that stuff doesn't weigh anything, so. But you do need to remember, anything that you're putting on this, you're adding weight. You're not taking any off from this stage. And that's where the 2 extra mystery pounds come in. So you have to be pretty mindful at this stage of the game. We need to make sure we got audio. Checking? Yeah, we got audio. That's where, let me turn this up a little bit. At this stage of the game, this is where you got to kind of pay attention that you're not, instead of just putting putty on there, I'm trying to get it off. So I have to use as least amount of putty as possible to make it perfect. I do not know why that is so damn hard. I got it. Perseverance. We got a guy in St. Louis. He's a crippled guy. He walks on crutches. And you'll see him going up the hill. I mean, he's flailing around. It may be snowing or whatever. I've stopped and asked him, "Do you want to ride?" "No." I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." I said, all I can do is look at that guy and go, "Man, that's perseverance." Because I don't know if I'd be able to walk up that hill in that condition. Determination, that's what it is, determination. And that's what it takes to build these models, determination. I want you guys to build better models than I do. If you do that, I've done my job. Back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, that wasn't the case. Nobody wanted to teach you how to do this. And I was fortunate that my dad did it and my Uncle Jerry did it. And they showed me some things, and I bugged Tom Warden, and I bugged Bill, and I bugged it. But, you know, most of this is all stuff that I've learned trial and error. And I kind of hate to see people make the same mistakes I did. But I see a lot of guys, so-called experts, make serious errors in building. Serious errors. Got one top 20 guy I've seen pull the bell crank out twice. Not once, but twice. And I'll give anybody $100. I'll bet you $100. No, because you'll ruin my airplane. You'll snap the lead outs. I'd bet an airplane for airplane, like $4,000 or whatever, that you can't pull my bell crank out. You'll break a line before you pull a bell crank out. And then I'd have to repair it, and I'd be unhappy. So I don't want to bet. Little details like this. This slot right here, even though you can't see it, needs to be sanded perfect. And that's what all this detail sanding is going to be about, is getting all this stuff ready for paint. When I paint this, I want to just dust on a coat of white, lay my backmask letters on it, shoot the maroon on it, shoot the red, shoot the, you know, the different colors I'm going to use, the black, red, maroon, and then just need 1 or 2 coats of clear to finish it off. And the only way you can get that is from the sanding. The base has to be super smooth. In order to make this look like plastic, it has to be super, super smooth. I'll probably go down to 600 before I shoot any color on it. I don't do any wet sanding at this stage because I don't like the idea of water around balsa wood. But I do wet sand after it's finished because, whether you know it or not, dope is plastic. And once it's encapsulated in dope, you're basically sanding plastic, so you can put water on plastic. But here there's too much of a chance to swell the wood in the early stages of this. I got that off, that's good. So I'm using the light that I have available, candling, to see any of the shiny spots, and we're sanding until the shiny spots are gone. And John made mention today about you watching me sand open-handed with no block. Uh-oh, R.C. Fred. Okay, yes, I've seen his airplanes. Let's talk about SIG dope. I proved this to John. I proved it to everybody. SIG dope, all dope in the United States is made in one place. It's all certified Acme, Randolph. All dope is made in one place, and it's California, which is really odd because they've got a ban on it or whatever. Brodak dope is made by Randolph. It's all the same company. Anyway, Sig dope is certified. And certified, when I was a kid, we used to go to the El Monte airport and buy gallons of certified dope, and it was good stuff. It had high solids. Well, since then, they must have changed the formula, and Sig paint, in order to paint white on an airplane this size, would take over a quart. I'll guarantee it. It would over a quart. So that would be a half a gallon thinned. 1 quart unthinned, half a gallon. On the other hand, if you use Randolph dope, the solids in the Randolph are 5 times as much. It takes 1/2 pint. So thinned, it takes 1 pint to paint this one color. 1 coat, 1 color, and it's covered. So I'm just giving you the rundown on Sig dope. It's all made at the same spot. I was trying to get them to reformulate Aerogloss, but the reason why they won't do Aerogloss anymore is it contains methyl ethyl ketone tech, which I used to use in the Navy all the time. It's not going to kill you. It hasn't killed me yet. But that's why Aerogloss, you could paint any dope over Aerogloss. You couldn't paint Aerogloss over any dope because the thinner was so hot. It would be just like you using straight xylene on it. So yes, I've seen his finishes. I've seen a lot of great finishes by a lot of people, but how much does the airplane weigh? See, my thought is to have a nice finish, but not have it weigh anything. And this is only achieved through sanding. Well, sanding in the right dope. When I first got to Dayton and I started monkeying around with John, he was using Brodak dope. And believe me, his airplanes were not opaque. They were not covered, and they weighed a ton. And I'd say to him, how much paint are you putting on there? So, well, it takes a quart. A quart? Yeah, it takes a quart. And I showed him the difference between Randolph and Brodak, and he was astounded. I mean, it's phenomenal. I can't explain it to you until you do what I tell you and get yourself some Randolph aircraft dope. Less paint, less weight. And then you got to stick to the diet that I give you. I've had, like some of the guys on the chat don't believe that I'm getting 6-ounce finishes. Well, they're not using the products I'm using it, and they're not using it in the way I'm using it, where I'm on a diet, and all you get is 1 quart of clear. That's for everything. 1 quart. That's all. It's not. I haven't even used the full quart, or the substrate on this. I still have that much in the bottom because I've added thinner. You can add as much thinner as you want, but you can only use 1 quart of dope. That's for the base coats and the top coat. And if you stick to my diet, you'll get a light finish. But it's hard to stick to it because most people won't sit down and do all this sanding. And I like John's idea of tinting the colored dope, because I think it's going to even take less, or tinting the clear dope coming up from the bare wood with tinted dope, because this wood is light, it's white, but it's not opaque white. So I figure one coat of white on a white base ought to cover real good. And the airplane that the paint scheme for this airplane is, of course, the Dr. Pepper can. And we're going to have I'm going to have Dr. Pepper on the wing, and 23 is the number, and so on and so forth. But it'll be real swoopy. It'll be white and maroon and red and black. So it'll be colorful. I've already laid it out in my head how I want to do it. We got 10 watchers and only 1 like. Hit that like button. Like, subscribe, and share the video. This is just a piece of balsa wood I made into a T. Sanding block. I like these better than the aluminum blocks, because first off it's wider, and second off, if I run into something, it doesn't gouge a big groove in it. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. 3 likes. Ask me a question. I got the chat open. If you're not a member, please consider joining the channel and becoming a member, paid subscriber. I'll have another video out for you guys on the paid side, probably tomorrow. Get a look at my little tail wheel setup there. Plywood on each side of it. That's that tail wheel that John made for me. See, when I'm at home, I could make all that on my lathe, but I have no tools here. Working in the closet. This airplane's 100% hand built. There's no, I didn't use any machines on the darn thing. My patch turned out real nice. You can't even see it where I cut that spot out of the rudder and put the tissue back on it. Have a low spot here. Gonna have to fill in with superfill. I mean, I'm not gonna get away without putting superfill on it. There's just no way. But I kind of want to put the least amount of that I possibly can. I don't want to putty it all up and load it all down with dope. I'm looking at it in the light here, and I see the shiny spots. I keep sanding till the shinies are gone. Then we'll add another coat of dope when I get all that sanded off and put in the filler. This blending right here, this is a real trick too. To go from this without a transition, without a bump. See, there's a slight low spot right there, and I'm gonna sand this high spot here to meet that low spot, and I don't want to feel that. Because trust me, if you can feel it, it will show up in the paint. You go, why didn't you just take another 5 minutes and sand that out? Okay. And I do, like I was saying, have 55 years sanding experience. I've probably got the sanding down to an art. But if I go over somebody's house like Billy or Jerry Phelps or those guys that are older than I am, they have more experience, I ask questions. I watch them, what they're doing. Can always learn something. John and I share ideas. I try his ideas, he tries mine. It's all about making a better product. Okay, back to this block. I'm going to spot up here. And like I say, use your hands. Your hands can see way better than your eyes. If you were here, if anybody was here that's watching this that wanted to learn this secret to this, I'd grab your hand and show you what I'm talking about. Your hands can see the flats, your hands can see the highs and the lows, and then you're continually candling, as best you can. And the nice thing about this finish here and not being rushed is I'm going to be able to get this ready to go over to John's and get a second set of eyes on it and go, what do you think? What needs to be addressed? And he'll tell me, and it's my decision whether I want to monkey with it or not. More than likely, I end up monkeying with it because that second set of eyes really helps. Really helps to have a second set of hands too that knows what's going on. boogie out here. I don't know where that came from. Must have tapped it on something when it was wet. But no problem. Just sand it out. All gone. Sanding out my solid wingtip mistakes. Should have put these on in the first place. If I didn't like the way this was laid out, I would take a saw and cut it in half and change whatever I want to change and glue it back together. And unless I told you about it, you'd never know. And I have made some aeronautical mistakes and done that. See, there's a spot right here that's low. I can either keep sanding. It's just a small spot, size of a BB. Keep sanding till that goes away, which I'll sand just a little more, and I'll breach the paper and then have a problem. Or I can dab some more dope on there and bring that up, and that's what we'll do. Actually, now I got it out, so that's good. And I will go round and round. We've been on 47 minutes. I'll stay on 1 hour. I don't think you can hang more than an hour watching a guy sand and talk about the same thing over and over again. I'm glad we're getting some new members on the new subscribers on the channel, and it's helping you. You know, that's good. It's real good. Inspirational. Here we are back to this again. Let me attention to details. See this this groove here? Well, I can't let that go out. I gotta take my file and straighten it out. Every one of them will be done like that. I'll show you what it looks like here as soon as I get this filed out. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything I do. If you want an exceptional model, you will, though. And you say, well, nobody can see that. Yeah, you think not. Yeah, you think nobody can see that, but trust me, Jim Lynch and Charlie Reeves can. Say, how come you didn't finish that off? Well, I don't know. Just gives the model a more finished look. That you paid attention to every detail. You can use a file, whatever. These always look best too when a corner like that is rounded over. You take the paper and you hold it in your hand like that, and you just kind of make a, I don't know, a cup, and let the paper shape the tip around there. I do have some rounding tools John's made, but I think they always look best done like this. Same with the tips. That's just basically how I do the tips. I had better control in my hand like this than I do with that sanding tool. Of course, I've used that sanding tool for the long runs, and it works good. Matter of fact, I did that with the leading edge of this. Use that sanding tool. But I just use mostly my eye and fingers and experience. You can see it. Or I can see it anyway, when it's right. Right here, there's a flat in it. There won't be a flat when I'm done. Dope is just powdering off. I probably ought to do the end with a block though. Some guys use 64th plywood on the end of the flaps. You could do that, and it does look nice. But it will look just as nice if you sand it square with a block and not have an extra piece of wood on there. The only way to make them lighter is leave stuff off. And what you do put on, use very little of it. "54, 6 minutes, then I can eat dinner." Yep, looks good. Needs more dope on it. Looks good. Needs more dope. Okay. Oh, wrong side. Now, if you don't want flats in your round bottom, don't sand this way. Sand across this way. Use your wrist. Looks like I got a yarmulke on. Like Heim. Okay. Keep sanding. I think I'll put the fillets on tonight. Are you guys wanting to see me do the fillets? If yes, I'll come back after dinner. If no, I'll just put them on and not have to talk. Man, I got some shiny spots there. What the heck's going on? I think I better get them 64th ply pieces on there and do the fiberglassing of the cowl here shortly too. Happy little circles. That got rid of the shiny spots. That killed them. That's good. I've got a little bit right there. Trust me, the smoother you can make this, the better it'll look with less paint. And you want the whole airplane. Thank you for the likes. We got 5 in there now. The smoother you can make it, the better it'll look with less paint. And we want the least amount of paint on, because I've said over and over again, the second heaviest thing next to the engine is the paint. Single thing. And when you think in those terms, you know, what would you do if you could leave the bearings out of your motor? Would you know, would you do that to save an ounce? Well, yeah, I would. I don't know why these engines are ball bearings anyway. I think they ought to be plain bearings. And when the bearings wear out, just put a new bushing in it or get a new motor. It would save an ounce. Right there, those bearings weigh an ounce. I got bearings, we can weigh them. Let's see what they weigh. Let's see what they weigh. Where are they? They might be in that box there. Maybe. Maybe. Yep, here's an old set of bearings. I got new bearings, but there's an old set of bearings, and I'll bet they're more than an ounce. I'll bet this is ounce and a half, 2 ounces. So that's why the double stars, people prefer or don't prefer, but why the double star has an advantage. It doesn't, the crappy motor, but the weight is really down there. Okay, weight of the bearings. Of course, the package weighs a little bit. Ounce and a half, just like I thought. 1.5 ounces. So if you could leave these bearings out of your motor and just use a bushing, you'll save an ounce, because we'll give it a half ounce for bushings. And yeah, they wouldn't last as long. Who cares? All you gotta do is make it one season. Okay, I gotta do some doctor work right here. I chipped the front of my cowl. And Minnesota Mike. Yeah, thank you, Mike. I got a little dent right here. I'm gonna put some CA in it, harden it up. I guess it'd be just as easy to hit it with some super fill. But at least that'll kill any growing of that spot. Of course, I don't have to do anything now, because when I fiberglass that, that'll be covered, so that'll work. A little dent right there. I don't know where that came from. Alright guys, been on an hour. I'm going to eat dinner. When I get done with dinner, I'll probably put the fillets on this thing, and I'll be sanding till midnight. And I just don't think you guys want to watch me sand for 4 hours, so I don't know if I'll be back or not. So like, subscribe, share the videos. Please consider becoming a member. And probably see you tomorrow for a progress update. So till I see you again, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.